Hello folks, Emily Valario, Pharmacist Witch here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about magic and what I like to call the languages of the mind. So the way our brain works, it takes in all of the sensory input from our surroundings, and we know about 8 senses. We know about our sight, our sense of hearing, smell, taste, touch, and then we have proprioception. We get feedback from our joints. We have interoception, which is like the feeling of our stomach gurgling and kind of the internal cues from within our body. And then we have our vestibular sense, which helps orient us upright in space on Earth. And so our brain takes in all the information that those senses are providing. It filters it through our sense of who we are. We call it our ego. And then it creates a narrative, a story. Our brains are really just great storytellers. And the story your brain tells is going to be different from the story my brain tells, even exposed to all of the same sensory stimuli. And a big part of that is, over the course of your life, over the course of my life, we've come to make different associations with different things, right? An example, when I see a dog, my brain, the story my brain tells is cute, sweet, must go pet, friend. But for someone else, a story might be danger, bites, stay away, right? And that, is different depending on your lived experience so far. So that's a powerful way of thinking about magic, knowing your own associations with things like animals, with colors, with scents, with tastes, right? We will each have our own bank of associations that we've developed through our lived experience. And once you're consciously aware of your associations, you can work with those associations in your magic. Now, one of the really cool things, though, is it seems as though there are some collective associations that we've made. And you might, an example would be many health systems include the color blue in their logo. Why is this? Well, for a lot of us, an unconscious association we have with the color blue is serenity, peace, tranquility. Perhaps it's because of our associations with the sky or the ocean, but health systems have, whether knowingly or not, employed this in creating logos with that color to help us feel more at ease. Or Dunkin' Donuts. They actually shared, they did research that showed people the colors orange and purple were the colors most likely to make people hungry. Right? So that market research is drawing on this idea that there are some collective associations with colors. And if you studied chakras, you might get some of your sense of the origin from that. So how is it that we have these shared associations? And I think it's fun to wonder, right? It's fun to wonder. I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers, but perhaps we associate abundance and wealth with the color green because of nature's great green abundance. Perhaps we associate yellow with optimism and cheer because of the sun's yellow golden hue. And then if we think about the world outside of colors, something like cinnamon, right? You think about the different tools in a witch's toolkit when crafting a spell. How did it come to be that cinnamon is good for abundance? Was it just someone decided that way back in the day and it's been passed on by word of mouth and books over and over? Maybe. Is it something passed on in our genetics? Maybe. But what I like to wonder, what I like to think about, is the idea that perhaps we have ways of perceiving that we haven't been able to quantify or qualify yet. ways of taking in information from our surroundings that we don't have the language to describe yet. Maybe we perceive the energy of something, the energy of a color, the energy of a spice, the energy of a smell, of a sound. Maybe it's more than just the sensory input we know about. Maybe its energy is communicating with our unconscious or subconscious mind in a way we haven't been able to understand yet. I like to wonder about this. I think it's fun to think about. And I think for me, it's part of magic. It's part of how I work my spells. Once I consciously know an association I've made, I'll give you an example. Dove soap for me. I'm consciously aware that that smell brings me right to my grandmother, and it is a smell I associate with protection and love. And it's now that I know that, I can work with that spell in my magic. I can work with that scent in my magic. I can invoke those feelings of comfort, of love, of protection by including that smell and whatever other allies I want to include in my work. And it's going to be working on my subconscious mind to create the narrative that I want. So the point here is, once you know the unconscious associations and make them conscious, then you can make them work for you. Once you know that the color yellow makes you think of cheer and optimism, you can select that color to evoke those feelings. Once you know that the smell of basil, like for my husband, is his grandfather is comfort and protection, he can work with the smell of basil to evoke those feelings. And you can put a whole bunch together, right? That's what a spell is. You're selecting input for your storytelling brain. You're helping it create the narrative of your choice so that it spits it out on the other end in a way you want. So to me, that's what magic is. I like to think that it is working with the energy of the allies, the tools that we have around us, and certainly, the energy within ourselves. But it's a nice collaboration between our conscious mind, our unconscious mind, and then the energy of everything around us. So that's my take. Thanks.